Hello, folks, and thanks for coming in early for such a needed team meeting. As you all know, my name is CJ Allen Fry. I am the CEO and managing partner of the Black Box Comedy Club and Theater. I say ours because this is your company also. Without you, there would be no Black Box Comedy Club. So thank you all for working so hard and diligently in our first 2 months of operating. You know, I started the Black Box Theater Comedy Club on a whim. My husband was a striving comedian, and I remember how hard it was to get him gigs. So I said to myself, Self, I am going to start a venue where comedians, singers, actors, bands can come and portray their talent to the masses. That's why our mission statement is to be the most engaging and accessible venue for amateur comedians and performers to portray their art form. I have a wonderful idea to tell you guys about tonight. Do you guys know how a giraffe learns how to walk? When a giraffe comes out of his mom's womb, it falls directly on its back. The mom looks at it and positions herself over it, and she takes her long leg and she kicks the baby giraffe, sending it flying head over heels. When it doesn't rise up, she kicks it again and keeps kicking it until it finally gets up on its wobbling legs because it's tired of being kicked and tries to escape the kicking. I like to compare that mama giraffe to most of the companies I have worked for in corporate America. When it came to sales, we were kicked with mandatory quotas, demands, and pressure sales. Until you have in your mind, you must sell, you must sell. I choose not to use quotas and demands to increase our ticket sales. Instead, I choose to use a theory I call the jelly bean theory. I was the baby of 6 children. My mom and dad were really worried about me because all my brothers and sisters started walking between 6 months to 10 months. And here I was at 12 months, still crawling around. My sister, who experimented with me anyway, like a baby doll, came up with a great idea. My family claims that before I even had teeth, I loved jelly beans. To this day, I still love jelly beans. I mean, they're just so delicious. Now back to my sister. She would take jelly beans and line them up in a straight path across the living room floor. The first jelly bean was about 2 feet from where my sister stood me up on my wobbly legs. She guided me on my feet to the first jelly bean. I sat and enjoyed my jelly bean. Yum, yum. I could see the next jelly bean 2 feet away and began to crawl to it. My sister would say, No, no, walk. She would pick me up on my feet and make me walk to each jelly bean until I had finally walked across the whole living room floor. And that's how I learned to walk. In my jelly bean theory, the jelly bean represents the role of an incentive. It is something that motivates one to do something. I choose to use incentives to motivate each of you to increase our ticket sales. So you're probably wondering, how can I receive these incentives, these monthly prizes? We have been operating for 2 months now. Through our marketing and advertising, we have been doing fairly well with our ticket sales. The club holds 500 seats per show, and so far we've been filling about 300 seats per show, giving us 200 seats to play with. As I stated, our marketing and advertising have been doing a great job. We need more word of mouth. I want you to treat this club like it's your own. Go out and tell everyone about where you work at. We now have 25 employees. Imagine if everyone sold just 8 tickets to each show. We would definitely have a packed house each time. Help us help you. Increased sales means more tips, increase in pay, more elaborate incentives. Speaking of incentives, each month we will give an incentive to whichever employee sells the most tickets. For the month of December, the prize for the most ticket sales is, drum roll please, an Orlando timeshare weekend vacation for 4. Isn't that great? So go for it. I don't mind what position you hold, bartender, waitress, hostess, sound guy, DJ, marketing, sales, highest sale of tickets gets it. But remember, no pressure. It's not mandatory to sell. So don't be afraid of failure of selling. A wise woman once said, don't worry about failure of selling. Worry about the incentives that you may be missing out on. Thank you all for coming in early for this team meeting. Have a great shift tonight. Black Box on 3. 1, 2, 3. Black Box.